Hello, family. My name is Ahimsa Grace, and I am a spiritual coach here to help you raise your consciousness. So, recently I did a video on integration, 5 mistakes to avoid during your integration process, which you can find in my previous videos. Well, I got a load of really good feedback and comments saying how helpful it was, people messaging me. And so I really feel like I want to go deeper with integration today. Rather than talk about the things that we're here to avoid, let's go deeper into the things that we should be doing that will help you as you integrate the old facets of yourself that once you had to let go of to survive. So first I'll go into what is integration. Integration is the process of reabsorbing parts of our true essence that we felt like we had to hide, that we felt like we had to let go of because we were in a situation that was difficult. Often as children, we go through really difficult times. We have to change our behaviors because of school, teachers, bullying, parents, siblings, church, religion. We feel like to survive a situation, we have to make changes to our true, perfect essence, our true self, who is perfect and beautiful the way that they are. We have to hide them, get rid of them, change them because we're told that we should behave in a certain way, or we even need to be safe, to be able to survive. So it's an amazing mechanism that we have within our brain to trim away and move things that aren't serving us. But you're not a child anymore. And you are here because you are looking to find your true essence. You're on the journey to becoming whole again. Rather than being who the world told you to be, you are becoming who you are. And part of that process is working through the shadow. Things happen to us. We witness. We start to see that there's a thought, a behavior, or a belief that isn't serving us. It's making us hurt. It's making us behave in ways that aren't authentic. It's making us repress our emotions so that we get angry at the people that we love, maybe in surprising outbursts sometimes for no apparent reason. So these habits, these thoughts, these beliefs that aren't serving us, that aren't authentic, are asking to go. So life will send us lessons. It will send us tests that feel really uncomfortable. And we go into the storm and we're witnessing ourselves and we're seeing the things that don't serve us. And rather than push it onto somebody else, we take the work and we say, okay, what do I need to do? I need a boundary here. Often we need a boundary through this process, even just temporary. What else do I need to do here? I need to look at this belief. Where did it come from? This habit, this thought, this behavior. Where did it come from? And we start to do the healing work. And this is in the storm. This is in the storm. And then we step out of the storm and we're a different person. But we don't know what this aspect of the inner child that's been accepted again from us, we don't know how this looks, how this feels, what this new me, new you thinks, how they feel, how they behave, what they believe, what habits they have. So this is then the integration process. You go in and you find that there's something in your childhood that needs healing. And so that inner child is allowed to bloom once again and become a part of you. And this is the integration process. What with that inner child back in you, who's been gone for 20, 30, 40 years, what sort of person does that make you now? What habits do you have? What do you believe? What sort of relationships do you have in your life? So let's have a little talk about 5 things you can do that will help your integration. I've already mentioned one of them. So number 1, boundaries. Boundaries don't have to be a permanent thing. But if somebody in your life is triggering you, you have the trigger. It's your thing. But if they're going to trigger that trigger over and over again, you are going to just get triggered over and over again. So what boundaries can you put in place? Maybe it's not seeing that person for a short period. Maybe it's having an honest conversation with that person about what you're going through, and that you know it's you. What a trigger is if you were to have a cut on your arm and somebody strokes your arm. It doesn't hurt because of the stroke, it hurts because of the wound. It's your wound. So you say, could you stop stroking my arm because it's trying to heal? And then when it's healed, you can stroke my arm again. Because once we've healed it, the trigger's gone. And that person can talk about money if it triggers you, or they can say something that's a bit sarcastic, and it won't trigger you anymore because you don't have the trigger anymore. You've healed. So it's not about changing other people, it's using the boundary to protect ourselves. Now, it can come tricky when we have children. Quite often, if you're a mother or a father, you may have loose boundaries with your children and then sudden sort of explosions. Maybe you're a people pleaser. Maybe you don't want to put this structure on them and you've been a bit of a people pleaser. If this is the case, you need a boundary with your children, and that is putting structures into place. Kids love routine. They don't love it. Kids thrive in routine. So it's about talking to them and putting structures in place to give you the space that you need, to give you the quiet time that you need, and bring in a routine so that they know when you are having your journaling time, or they know that, in the afternoon you're going to have a nap. So if they're watching TV or playing, it needs to be quiet. These are the sorts of boundaries that you can bring into your life. Like I said in the previous video, if there's like a monthly gathering of your family, and our families can be the ones that trigger us the most, perhaps you would put up a boundary and say, not even tell them why necessarily if they won't get it, but that you can't make it for the next 1 or 2. And that will give you time to heal the stuff that they trigger in you, so that when you go back into the situation, you're not going to feel like you have to laugh at those jokes, or you won't feel like that wound, that trigger will be more healed. So when they say something sarcastic, it isn't going to make you feel those emotions. You know you need to work on it. You put up a boundary, you work on it, and then you see what happens when you start to take that boundary down. Are you fully healed, or does more work need to be done? So that's number 1, boundaries. And they're not a permanent thing necessarily. Sometimes they are. Sometimes with really destructive people, they would need to be. Generally, they're a temporary thing. Number 2, time and space. Don't set a time limit on your integration. It might take a day, it might take a month, it might take even longer, and that's okay. All right, these things take time. The more you do it, the shorter amount of time it will take, because your subconscious mind and your brain, all these neurons that are firing and wiring together, by now with me, they know the drill. I know what to do. I'm in a state of surrender. I trust the process because I've done it many times. But if you're just setting out, it used to take me a long time to integrate because I didn't quite know what I was doing. So allow yourself time and space. Schedule in time for journaling, for self-care, for walks on your own in nature. Schedule in the time with whatever your life is, what you can take for quiet time, for contemplation, not being surrounded by loads of people necessarily. Because when we're surrounded by loads of people, we feel like we have to play into this role. We feel like we have to say these things. We feel like we have to laugh at this joke. So it's taking that time and space alone, or with maybe a buddy. Maybe you would have an integration buddy, to just contemplate what is going on and how you feel about things, and who this inner child is, and visualizing this aspect of the inner child and what she wants. Visualizing your future and what you want as this new you. Number 3, share with the right people if you can. So again, in the last video, I was talking about sharing. Don't open up necessarily to people that won't get it, because they're going to give you bad advice. They're going to give you safe advice that keeps you in your safety net, your safe zone. Whereas actually you want to change. You don't want that homeostasis anymore. You want to level up. So if they're the only people you have around you, do open up, but take their advice with a pinch of salt. Now, how can you share? You could go to sharing circles. There are loads of circles out there. For example, if you microdose, there's psychedelics in recovery. If you have had problems with alcohol, there's Alcoholics Anonymous. There's men's circles, there's women's circles, there's circles for everything. And generally they're by donation, optional donation, which is a beautiful thing. So it's affordable for everybody. So find yourself an awakened woman's, men's circle or one that resonates with you, and connect and open up and share your story. When we share our story in circle, we are not interrupted. Nobody's going to, talk about anything in our space of time. And we can share whatever we want. And there's power in that. There's also power in hearing other people's stories and either thinking, wow, I thought I was the only one that had been through that, but it just came out of someone else's mouth. Or you may think, wow, well, their life's pretty tough right now. Mine isn't as bad as I thought. My story isn't as bad as I thought, because other people have it worse. Journaling as well. Journaling is amazing. If you struggle to journal, there's voice note apps, and you can use a voice note app and then delete it afterwards if you want to, just to speak your truth. Share, find community, find like-minded people, create yourself a group. Come onto my Facebook group and share your experiences, or share your star chart, and start connecting into like-minded people. Number 4. Now, when I did my last video on integration, a beautiful friend of mine said, thank you so much, that was incredible. And actually, she helps me too. She helps me to connect to my fun side and my inner child. So have fun. Play. What does that inner child want to do? Do they want to laugh? Do they want to watch a funny movie? If you've got a young child, this is easy. You can take them out and you could go kick a ball around and make it into a little fun play fight. You can go for a little run with your child, go to the playground and actually, go on the slide, go on the swings. If you don't have a young child, maybe you can find a way to do that with your friends. Team sport, maybe. You can maybe play some basketball. So don't be attached to the way it's going to go. Don't judge yourself. If you feel self-conscious, don't judge yourself for that. If you want to judge yourself for being playful, that's just a program within you. Allow yourself to have fun. Try new things. Let the old things start to crumble away naturally. Try things that you may enjoy, that you've kind of wanted to do for a while, but maybe you've not been brave enough. Maybe the inner child wants to do that art course. Maybe the inner child wants to learn to play the piano. So what can you do that is gonna bring out the creativity of that inner child, that is an aspect of your true essence? So play. Number 5, read, but read the right sort of books. So some of my clients will take it upon themselves to find a book to read. And it has happened in the past where they have found a book that has overwhelmed them with the amount of work they have to do. Talking about different aspects that they might want to integrate. And they're looking through this book and they're like, oh my God, I've got so much to do. Like, it's an amazing book, but for integration, there's certain sorts of books, and early on your journey as well, there's certain sort of books that will help you, and there's certain sorts of books that will overwhelm you. So I have some of my books here right now. One amazing book, The 4 Agreements. This isn't overwhelming. This talks about the nature of human nature, and it talks about 4 agreements that we can replace our millions of old agreements with. You know, I agree that I'm quiet. I agree that I laugh at bad jokes. Whatever our agreements are that we made when we were a child in order to survive, you can replace all of those with these 4 agreements. It's a beautiful book, very ancient wisdom passed down from the Toltecs of Mexico. So that's one book you may read. If any of these resonate with you, if they don't, maybe you'll find one of your own. Nathaniel Branden, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. So if you've had self-esteem issues, this talks about the nature of self-esteem and the 6 pillars that uphold it. A lot of it at the beginning of the book is just talking about self-esteem, different studies, different practices, and then it goes on to the 6 pillars. So that shouldn't overwhelm you, and you can pick these up and put them down as you like as well. Rhonda Byrne, The Magic. This is a lovely book. It supports journaling, and there's a different practice for every day, and I think it's a month. Let me check. I'm taking too long. I think it's a month. So every day you are grateful, you're in gratitude, and with the magic to bring what you want into your life, to draw what you want into your life. So it's kind of a manifestation book through being grateful. So if gratitude really resonates with you, that's a fantastic book. If you are a yogi, if you are deep into yoga, not just the physical yoga, but the philosophical yoga, the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is this story of a warrior who doesn't want to go to battle against his family. It's like the family is split in 2. He doesn't want to go to battle. And Krishna, who is the Lord of Yoga, takes him on a journey, a philosophical, spiritual journey into the nature of humanity, the nature of reality, the nature of our dharma, our purpose, our life purpose. So if you're deep into yoga, you'll get it. If you're not, the language might put you off a bit, but I studied yoga. I'm a yoga teacher by trade as well. So this for me is, my favorite book in the world. The Body Keeps the Score. So this is by Bessel van der Kolk, whose name I always forget. And this is about trauma. This is about PTSD. This is about trauma. This is about having physical ailments as a result of our trauma. So if it's deeply trauma related, PTSD involved, he is an amazing doctor who is leading the way in thinking about trauma, depression, mental illness in a very different way. So this is an incredible book. Again, it's quite thick, it's quite involved, but it's one that you can put down and pick up as you go along. I'm only on page 219 and I'm not even halfway, almost halfway. This is a wonderful book. You don't have to sit there and read them cover to cover. You can pick up a book, read it, and then put it down. Put it down and forget about it, because when you pick it up again, it will be the right time. So don't feel like you have to read the whole thing because the Ahimsa says. You might never read the whole thing. Project 369, the last one. This is an amazing manifestation book. So this comes a little bit later, I would say, on your journey of raising your consciousness, on your journey of healing your shadow. This comes a little bit later. So Project 369, when we're manifesting, we have already healed the part of our subconscious that says, we affirm, I am beautiful. And our subconscious goes, nah, you're not. So we have to have overcome that monkey mind through meditation, through affirmation, through healing the shadow, healing the cause of that voice at the back of your mind. So you have to be a certain distance along the journey until you're ready for Project 369. But it is incredible. It tells you a lot about the nature of manifestation in ways that I hadn't thought of it before. And then there's lots of days of journaling prompts, repetition, the same 4 pages over and over, but with different quotes, different inspirations, working on the 369, the power of frequency of 369, which Tesla discovered and is deep in nature. So those are amazing books. I will share those today on my group. I'll share pictures of them so that you can find them yourself, with a little reminder of what they are specifically good for, who they would help. So there you are, 5 ways to ace your integration. Boundaries, space and time, sharing, having fun, and reading. 5 things that you can do and you can start today. So if you're going through your integration, I really hope this has helped you. If you want to have a look at the past video, you can find it on my channel on YouTube, 5 mistakes to avoid during integration. So this just goes a little bit deeper. So sending you so much love on this journey of raising our consciousness. If you want to comment on the Facebook post that I'm going to put on my group, I'm water fasting today. If you want to share on the group, if you want to share on the YouTube or the TikTok, you are very welcome, and I will get back to you. Sending you so much love, and I will connect with you again really soon.